Hi everyone, Evie here, the Greek Goddess of Great Reading. I had two videos I was going to put up before putting up this video that I am right now, but my computer crashed and so I had to go buy a new one, but at least that all happened in the span of a day, so I'm just going to get right back on track. Today I'm gladly reviewing P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han, the sequel to her first book, To All the Boys I've Loved Before in this series. Lara Jean didn't expect to really fall for Peter. They were just pretending until they weren't. And now Lara Jean has to learn what it's like to be in a real relationship and not just a make-believe one. But when another boy from her past returns to her life, Lara Jean's feelings for him suddenly return too. Can a girl be in love with two boys at once? In this charming and heartfelt sequel to the New York Times bestseller To All the Boys I've Loved Before, Lara Jean is about to find out that falling in love is the easy part. There will be spoilers for the book To All the Boys I've Loved Before in here, so if you haven't read that book yet, I suggest you go read it and then come back. So I'm glad to say that I've come full circle since my first review and since this channel officially first started. My first review for this channel was a very terribly edited video of To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, and now it's great that I get to revisit that series again. So I didn't really like this story at first just because it seemed more like a lot of high school drama as opposed to the cool concept that was introduced in the first book, which is that Lara Jean's love letters that she's written to all the boys that she's loved in her life get mysteriously sent out and delivered to each of them, and so they all kind of come back in her life and are asking her questions about what these letters mean and if these feelings still apply and whatnot. I ended up liking the book a lot more in terms of just liking the situation, I guess, when John Ambrose McLaren came in. And if you guys remember John Ambrose McLaren from the first book, he was one of the boys that Lara Jean's letters got sent to, but she never got a reply from him and she never knew what really came of it. But I liked it when he came in because he was so sweet and it was so dreamy. I hate to say that's so cliche, but in my head I pictured him as this very romantic, very sweet guy as opposed to who Lara Jean is dating. Peter, I didn't really like Peter, and I still don't in this book, so he just seems really cocky to me and really full of himself, and I don't like what's going on with him and Genevieve. Like, I actually hate Peter in this book. He is kind of being an asshole. Because Lara Jean is kind of jealous because she always sees Peter texting Jen, his old girlfriend, and hanging out with her, and he keeps saying it's just as friends, it's just as friends. But I understand that jealousy is sometimes misguided and not really necessary because there's nothing happening, but in the case of Lara Jean, she's never had a real relationship before, and Peter should have recognized that, so he should have maybe given her a bit more comfort by not talking to Jen and not being so involved in her life when he could have been more involved with Lara Jean. One of the best moments of the book is Kitty. Best moment. She's just the best feature because she's so funny, and I found myself laughing a lot during this book, and it was mostly because of Kitty and her blunt remarks. She doesn't hold anything back and she's mean a lot of the time, but I think Lara Jean, especially because she's a bit naive, needs to hear these things, and since her older sister isn't there and her father doesn't really give her a lot of advice in sort of the girl-boy department, then Kitty's sort of sage advice is probably a good thing for Lara Jean in the long run. Lara Jean is jealous, and at a point in the book she seems to think that that is wrong, and I personally don't agree with that. If you are jealous, there's usually a reason for it, and maybe that reason isn't exactly true, but it's still something you feel. Just because the other people don't really think that it matters doesn't mean that it's not true. What you're feeling is what you're feeling, and someone else can't take that away by saying you shouldn't be jealous, there's nothing to worry about. I am jealous, I am worried. So I don't think Lara Jean should apologize for that because there was something going on and she was upset about it, and she has the right to be. I like the relationship with Lara Jean and her sisters. She's one of those girls who believes that family is very important, and I think the loss of her mom at an early age really instilled that in her. So she's not one of those girls who wants to get out of the house and go partying all the time and spend all this time with her boyfriend. So I really think that's a good character trait of hers, and also the fact that she's so committed to the residents at Bellevue, the nursing home that she volunteers at, and helping them have a good time in their life, because I think at a point in the book she's not having a really good time in her life, so she wants to help these other people have a good time in their lives. So she's sort of just projecting that onto their own lives, and I really admire that in her, that she's willing to help other people even if she's not happy herself. The USO party that's held for the residents at Bellevue that Lara Jean puts on was so cute. I wish we did stuff like that. USO party is essentially, back in the war they used to have these a lot, so all the women would dress up really nice and all the guys would be in their uniforms, and it just sounds so spiffy because boys in uniform are cute. And I just put down in my head John Ambrose McLaren and Hearts, and if you couldn't figure out, John Ambrose McLaren is the other boy that Lara Jean starts to develop feelings for, that they talk about in the summary. What team are you guys? If you've read this book, are you Team Peter or Team John? I'm Team John, because I don't like how this book ends. Because of that, I was so like, Lara Jean, no, you can't do that, Lara Jean. But it's just how Jenny Han wanted to finish the book. I'm a little disappointed with her choice, but the heart wants what it wants, I guess. So if you guys have read P.S. I Still Love You, let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments below. Also, are you Team Peter or Team John? I'm Team John all the way. My Twitter and my website are linked in my bio below, as well as the music that's featured on my videos by my friend Lenny Papadopoulos. His SoundCloud page is linked below as well. Hit subscribe if you guys like what you see and want to see more videos by me. I'm Evie, the Greek goddess of great reading, and until next time, guys, keep reading.